It's more important than ever now to make sure you have a high quality torque wrench that you can trust to make sure you do a proper repair that won't come back. So in today's episode of Teck's Talking Shop, I'll give you some of my tips for buying torque wrenches, plus I'll show you what I do to make sure they stay well maintained and accurate. That's coming up right now. Years ago, when GM first started making those V6 engines with plastic intakes, they were notorious for leaking, and they were coming into repair shops by the dozen. Now, the first one that I didn't have the proper tools. I had an old torque wrench that I really couldn't trust, but I used it to torque down the bolts on that plastic intake, and you can imagine what happened. Yep, I cracked that intake because the torque wrench was just so far off. So right then, I threw that torque wrench in the trash out of frustration, and I vowed to never buy a cheap precision tool ever again. Now, I do have a cheap hammer. I actually didn't pay anything for it. I found this laying in the dirt somewhere. And then you can also save a little bit of money on air tools by buying maybe on Amazon instead of off the tool truck. But for me anyway, I like to buy USA made torque wrenches that are high quality and there's something that I can trust. Some of them are from a tool truck and some are direct from the manufacturer, and I'll show you those. All right, my workhorse is this. It's a split beam torque wrench, 1/2 inch drive, and it comes out all the time, especially when I'm doing a tire rotation or something like that. I torque the wheel nuts with this torque wrench, and it's really fast and very accurate. Now, Precision Instruments is the OEM for some of the tool truck brands like Matco, so you know that there's a good quality there. But if you buy direct from them or from Amazon, you can get a really good deal on a high quality tool. A split beam torque wrench like this one clicks when you reach the torque rating that you set it for, but they're not reversible. So it's righty-tighty only, that's all you get. Unlike a regular click type torque wrench, there aren't springs and other moving parts on the inside. It's actually really simple, so it's great for using every day and it'll last you a really long time. Another benefit over that click style torque wrench is that you can just leave it set for whatever torque you had it at and put it away. The other style, you have to unwind that spring and get it back to its lowest setting before you store it because that spring needs to be relaxed. The industry standard for checking the calibration on your torque wrench is about every 12 months or 5,000 cycles. Now, a cycle is going to be every time it clicks. So if you have a tool dealer, you could bring it right up onto the truck and they've got a way to bench test your torque wrench to make sure you're good to go. My favorite torque wrench is this one. It's made by Snap-on and it's digital, so I can set it for 3 different units. It can do foot-pounds, inch-pounds, and Newton-meters, so that makes it easy. Plus, it'll do between 5 and 100 foot-pounds. That's the range. So I use this a lot for engine work. In my experience, digital torque wrenches are very accurate and consistent, not only because they're just made that way, but it makes me more consistent because as I'm pulling on that handle, I can watch the screen here and I can see that dynamic torque come up as I pull. So as I approach that torque rating that it's set for, I can slow myself down to make sure that I don't go over. That's the torque wrench that I use now for all the plastic intakes and other critical engine components. But if you're going to be doing head gaskets, I would recommend a 1/2 inch drive digital that also measures the angle that you're turning to. Something to remember about torque wrenches is that they are more accurate at the higher end of their scale. If you've got one that goes from 5 to 100 foot-pounds, measuring 6 foot-pounds, you're not going to be as accurate as if you were measuring 90 foot-pounds. So a dial-type torque wrench like this one is incredibly accurate at the very low end of the scale. This one is good from 0 to 150 inch-pounds, and it's just what you need when you're setting pinion-bearing preload on a rear end. There's no ratcheting mechanism on this torque wrench. It's designed for you to turn it in either direction and you can watch your dynamic torque reading right here on this dial. Now, I always keep my torque wrenches stored inside the case that they came in to make sure that they don't get bumped around because these are a precision tool. Plus, I keep a desiccant pack inside of that case to keep moisture out of there to prevent rust on the tool. This wrench is made in the USA by CDI. Now that company is owned by Snap-on, so some of these wrenches you'll see on a Snap-on truck with their logo on it. No matter what brand you choose, I think the most important part to remember is that you want to be confident in your tool so that you can be confident in the repairs that you do with them. So these are what bring me that confidence, and I know I'm not going to break another plastic intake ever again. We appreciate you watching these videos, and I say we because Tech's Talking Shop is a collaborative effort between all of these professional technicians and myself to bring you information about the auto repair industry. We're building an online community here on YouTube and on Instagram, and it's all about helping each other out. So if there's something that you need help with, just leave us a direct message or a question down in the comments, and maybe the answer to your question will come in the form of a video series next month. Thanks for watching.